News just in from the U.S. That the U.S. economy contracted by more than expected in the first quarter of 2022. And this spells trouble for global markets, with the possibility of a recession now looming ever large. Coupled with the rise in inflation, oil prices, the conflict between Ukraine and Russia, what does all this mean for a country like South Africa and those who actually trade there? We turn to Fred Razak, who is the chief trading strategist at CMTrading, who has years of experience trading on Wall Street, almost 30 years of experience trading on Wall Street. Thank you very much, Fred, for joining us. This news from the US, it's quite expected for a lot of people, but it seems like we are nearing closer and closer to a recession. That's the big talking point around the world right now.
Yes, well, just because the data isn't in that we're in recession doesn't mean that we're not already in a recession. I mean, the feeling in the street, people being out of jobs, the inflationary rate, this looming issue that's happening between Ukraine and Russia that's really in the backdrop of the United States, is all things that are adding fuel to the massive post-COVID economy structure that we're in right now. So there's a lot of stress on the economy right now, which coupled with all these other factors are really, putting a big damper on the economy right now. So it's we're feeling the stress. So even though the data isn't in that we're in officially a recession, doesn't mean that we're not already in a recession.
You are a veteran of Wall Street. You've been there during the global financial crisis, now COVID-19, and we are now going through the Ukraine conflict. What lessons have you learned as a trader? Now you have taken your experience out there in the world. You are now educating other traders about how to mitigate against all these events. What lessons is all of this from your experience? What lessons should this be teaching us?
Okay, so a couple of things. Number one, crisis is always tremendous opportunity. People don't see it like that. We're always focused that, things are always going to be bad or things are always going to be good. We live a very, very extreme kind of black and white kind of spectrum when it comes to the economy. It's either always good or always bad. But crises are opportunities. They give us the opportunity for new companies to actually come in. And there will be companies that will not rebound from recessionary kind of economic climates. However, there will be companies that are almost on sale, so to speak, and will be going into that downturn and give other opportunities for people to jump in and buy and invest in these type of companies for the long run. So that's a positive note of the crisis. Another thing is markets always rebound. Okay, it might not be 5 years, might be 10 years, but markets always rebound. I mean, having gone through the dot-com crisis of 2000 and then the housing crisis, the credit crunch crisis of 2008, 2009, and then this crisis of COVID from 2022, you see things that are always going to repeat. Markets will always have a boom, they will always have a bust, and then there's always going to be a boom again. So for those that are looking to get into the markets and are disheartened by the current climate, you shouldn't be. You should actually be looking for opportunities for the next upturn.
So if there are a lot of people right now globally, particularly in South Africa though, who are getting into the trading space, and they are wondering whether to get in right now or not to get in right now. They are hearing about the recession. They are listening to you right now saying there is an opportunity when there is a crisis. But when you are in a recession, as you say, the data is not in right now, and you are a trader, wherever you're sitting, you're looking at local markets, you're looking at global markets, you want to get in there. What does a recession mean as a trader? What should you be looking out for?
So when I say opportunities, this is really the crust of it. Okay, money doesn't disappear. Money just relocates itself. That's a very important lesson. And I think that if you relocate yourself financially, you could really take advantage of the market. So for example, gold is generally a safe haven investment. So in a recessionary environment, people put their money in gold. So gold will be appreciating over time. Might not be the growth stocks that we expected, the FANG stocks, the Facebook, Amazon, Apple, Netflix, Google, and Microsoft will be going up. They may be going down, but gold will end up going up as a result of it. Okay, so those are the type of relocations the money happens. It doesn't disappear. It just relocates itself.
So let's talk about the Ukraine war. That in itself is causing a lot of disruptions, and for global and local markets, inflation is high. And it's going to go on for a long time. Sitting there, trying to get into those international markets. Many people would be asking themselves now, should I be going into cryptocurrencies? But if you look at the crypto prices, they've lost a massive value in the past 2 months. They've lost almost 60% of their value. Trillions of rands have gone down the drain. How would you tell those people who want to get into cryptos? Because depending on who you are speaking to, cryptos it's going to be a dying game, or it's where the future is.
So let's take demographics of who's investing in cryptos, okay? If you take a demographic of 40 to 50-year-olds and you look at their portfolio, they're mostly invested in blue chip stocks. They're mostly invested in less averse, less growth-oriented investments. That's because they're living in the next 10 to 20 years going into retirement. So they don't want to take risks. But if you look between the sector of 20 to 30-year-olds, they are much more aggressively investing in cryptocurrencies. So these are going to be, in the next 20 to 30 years, these are going to be the future investors. So if they're already committed to cryptocurrencies, it's just a matter of time until we as a people adopt cryptocurrencies in actually using them on a daily basis. They exist, they're there. It takes a learning curve for them actually to be brought down to the average person. So it's introduced, it's a certain boom and bust kind of .com kind of environment where I think there's going to be a cryptocurrency that's going to win the favor of everybody. And I think that this current climate that we're going through, this correction in cryptocurrencies, is actually very natural and very organic. And there's going to be a cryptocurrency that's going to win our hearts, not emotionally, but financially. It's going to make sense for us to use it as a medium, as opposed to going from South African rand to US dollars to Saudi rial. It's going to be all one currency and makes life all easier for everybody. So, this is just an issue of time until it's actually absorbed to the average person.
So with all these things happening globally, in global markets, local markets, how should we be preparing, or can we even prepare for what is about to happen when it comes to a recession?
So, I believe in driving responsibly. I also believe in trading responsibly. Okay, so you take a defensive, offensive kind of role when you're investing. You have to be responsible because ultimately it's your hard-earned money that is being put on the line. And it's not just your hard-earned money, it's also the pension for your kids and, future children and grandchildren, with God's help. So with that said, I think somebody needs to allocate every 3 to 4 months to understanding where to reassess what their portfolio looks like, and then look at the current climates and see if if we're going to skirt the recession based on the Federal Reserve coming in and kind of saving the day, so to speak. So these are things that you could do as an average person. This is not, you don't have to be working in Wall Street for 30 years to learn this. And I think the advent of the internet allows everybody around the world to just access information to educate yourself on how to invest your hard-earned money. So I think that that's something that we all need to look to if we want to add value to ourselves for the future.
Fred, thank you very much for your time here at Newzroom Afrika, telling us about that there is loads of money actually to be made in times of crisis as we face crisis globally today. Fred Razak is the Chief Trading Strategist at CMTrading out in New York. He has a lot of experience in the area of Wall Street and trading, and it's his view that there is still a lot of money to be made on this front. Well,